trying to grow as many different things in this greenhouse through autumn and into winter. And because it's the coldest part of the year, we're not trying to grow anything to get big produce. We're going to be taking small harvests of most of the things that we've got in here, like the salads, and then we'll keep replenishing that produce as we need to. But as long as we can still keep providing ourselves with fresh salads and vegetables, it's worth trying. And today I'm doing some parsnips, and I'm doing in containers as well. And as a rule, when you grow parsnips, they should be getting planted around May. So obviously it's very late in the year to be even thinking about growing some parsnips of any decent size. So what we're going to try and do is grow baby parsnips, harvesting parsnips at just a few inches. They're not going to take a lot of compost. The pots don't take up any space, so we might as well try it. And if we do get something, then that'll be great. So we're going to try those. The problem with parsnips is that the seeds take a long time to germinate, and they are notorious for not germinating for one or two reasons. One reason is they've took so long to germinate in damp compost they rot. And another reason is if you bought parsnip seeds last year and you're using them this year, the chances are none of them seeds are longer viable. They've got a very short shelf life. So as a rule, when you're growing parsnips, you should buy fresh seeds every year. Because I've done it for a couple of years, and the old seeds I've tried the following year and they've never germinated. So we'll do them in pots, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do them. So if you don't want to wait for your seeds to germinate in your pots, wondering whether they are viable or whether they've actually rotted, you can pre-germinate parsnip seeds yourself and then put them in your pot. And what we'll do today is we'll do both ways and we'll see what happens. So obviously the normal way is just to fill a container with compost. Again, this has been part filled with waste compost, the lumpy stuff, because we're not looking to get any parsnips of any length. We just want some little stubby ones. So we'll do this one first, and then I'll show you a way to pre-germinate your seeds so you can know that they've already started to root, and you can just pop them in your soil. Then you know you've got viable seeds that you've planted. So first off, this pot needs filling up. And when you're growing parsnips, it's the same as growing carrots. They need really loose medium. If it's got stones in it or lumps, it's going to cause them to fork and bend, which obviously you don't want. So that's been filled up. Just giving it a little bit of a bang down, and then we'll just make a level bed. And then I'm going to moisten this compost as well. Now I'll bring camera in and I'll show you how I'm going to plant them in this pot, and then we'll move on to pre-germinating them as well. And I'm sure we've all seen parsnip seeds before. They're just little round, virtually paper thin things. So when I sow these, the way I like to do it is to just space them that far apart. They are very delicate seeds, and normally you won't plant them this close together, but because we only want baby parsnips, it doesn't matter. And if we put quite a few seeds in here, any that don't actually germinate, it's not going to matter too much because we've already got plenty in there. And then obviously we want to get a light covering, but because they need extra moisture, I just like to press them down into that compost just to make sure they've got good contact with that damp. And then we're going to use a colander to lightly cover those seeds up. Since they take a long time to germinate, we don't want to be waiting any longer than we have to once they have germinated. So by giving them a really light covering, that's just going to help with that process. And then we're just going to water them again. Because moisture is key when you're trying to germinate parsnips or carrots. They don't like to completely dry out. And then to help retain that moisture, I always cover these pots with some cling film. And basically turn this pot into a little propagator. And that's going to prevent it from completely drying out. So that's your parsnips all sorted. Now you've got that waiting game to see if you've got viable seeds and they do actually germinate. Let's now try the pre-germinating your seeds method. And again, I'll bring the camera in close so you can see what I'm doing. And basically all you're going to need is a little plastic tub without holes in it and a couple of layers of paper towel. And just pop that paper towel in the bottom of there. And then we need to moisten this paper towel. We just want to make sure that it's completely moist, but we don't want pools of water in there. And then we can just pop some seeds on there. Bearing in mind that if you want to grow a few parsnips this year, these seeds are probably not going to be any good come next year. And just spread them out a little if they overlap. So you've got something like that. And again, we'll cover that with some cling wrap. Once again, creating that propagator effect that's going to hold all that moisture in there until these seeds germinate. So that's now set up. And what you want to do with that is keep it out at the sun to stop it drying out. So maybe just pop it in your kitchen. And the reason people do it like this is because the parsnip seeds can take 2 to 3 weeks before they even germinate, and then they've got to find their way out of compost. All the while, you don't know if those seeds are actually doing anything because they're buried. And by doing it this way, after about a week, you should see roots starting to appear out of the bottoms of these seeds. And then you know they're viable. So you can give them a couple of days, make a tiny hole, and then lightly cover them into the pots where you're wanting to grow them, knowing you've got 100% guaranteed viable parsnip seeds in that container. So I hope you found that video interesting, and if you want to see what else we're going to be growing in this container greenhouse over the next few months, please just hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you at the next one. You all take care. Thank you.